If Scooby Doo did a crossover with Doctor Who, how would you feel about that?
I've so if they did do a crossover with Doctor Who, I would like it, and I would hope they either choose between David Tennant or Matt Smith as the Doctor in question, because I feel like David is more like the more serious Doctor, but then Matt Smith is more like the kid-friendly version, where he's too childish for his own good. So I feel like one of the two would fit perfectly with the Mystery Inc. gang. You have someone who's serious about certain situations. You have someone who's more serious but acts more carefree. So those two would work well in the Scooby Doo universe as if there was a crossover,
But
which
you know what my
can work.
question's gonna be, right?
What?
What David Tennant? 10th Doctor, Metacrisis Doctor, or 14th Doctor? That's the question.
Oh God.
I want to say 10th Doctor for the
See, I'm
iconography, but I also
thinking
love the
10th.
14th Doctor.
Yeah, because he regenerated three times. So it's 10th one, then it was the one with the Dalek invasion that made him waste one of his regenerations. Then he regressed, regenerated back into his old self, and then split for the 14th one. So he's his own independent doctor. So that a new doctor is the first original doctor because it's different from him. It's very confusing. So, I say the 14th one because he's more. I don't know. He's more different. He was more serious and alone when he was the 10th Doctor. Now he's more used to being around people. He's more
Hmm.
progressed over the time. So I would say that version of David
That
Tennant.
makes sense. And I think Doctor Who fans are a little more, they've got more ground to stay what's canon and what's not canon, because that is a continuing story. So for the 14th Doctor as well, he could have any adventure whenever, because there's so much time that we don't know about his timeline yet. I still don't know what his deal is if at the end of his life he fades away and ends up back in the giggle, or if he's just a separate thing entirely now. I still don't know, but I like that a lot. What companion do you think the Doctor should have at the time, or do you think he should be like a companionless story for characters?
I would say if we're going with my one, the 14th one, it would either be Donna Noble as or Donna Noble's daughter coming along
Ooh.
because he kind of sneaks off and does small adventures with her without her knowing. So
Oh,
maybe
that
that
would
might
be
explain how
interesting.
they meet up with the Scooby Doo gang.
I like that. Oh, so it could be Donna Noble or Rose Noble. That is a really good combo. I really want that now because you know when we spoke to that director that I think you gave him a bit of a hard time, but he did speak about writing a Doctor Who crossover for is it Children in Need? And it was going to be Peter Capaldi and Jenna Louise Coleman as Clara. And Jenna Louise Coleman as Clara is one of my absolute favorites, so I wouldn't mind that one either. My own kind of controversial, it's not really controversial, but one thing I do like the idea of is either a crossover with the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, or the Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison. Less so him because he's got celery and that kind of connects. I feel like Tom Baker offering people jelly babies is like the perfect connectivity for Shaggy and Scooby. Like he could say, "Would you like a jelly baby?" And Scooby could just vacuum it out of his hand, and he'll keep on following the Doctor around, like sniffing at his pockets for more jelly babies. Just that, I think, would be great. And I love Sarah Jane, but if it's animated, and obviously R.I.P. Elizabeth Slade, and she's a legend. I would love Louise Jameson to come back as Leela if it's Fourth Doctor. So no, I'm thinking more classic stuff, but
You're thinking more classic, which
Fourth Doctor and Leela
I'm thinking more modern area
would be great.
era one.
Who would I pick? Anything with Jenna Louise Coleman.
That's why I
Um,
chose between David Tennant or Matt Smith.
I
Even
do
Matt
like your
Smith,
idea there. What about Christopher Eccleston? I guess he might be a bit too serious.
he's too serious, and I think he said he didn't want to come back again. But
I think he's come back for some Big Finish audios. I just think he doesn't want to work with. Did you see that Comic Con clip where he said, if you want me to come back, fire Russell T Davis, fire Julie Gardner, fire Jane Trantner, and I'll come back. So I think it's just BBC slash Bad Wolf people that he doesn't want to deal with. I think if it was a Warner Brothers thing, I think he'd be more inclined to do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, because seeing him in what was it, 24 weeks later or 24 hours later? Or was it 24 days later?
I think
I
it's
think it was
28 days later. The
28
one with
days later,
Cillian,
that's it.
Killian Murphy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Him in that role was good because I think that was the only time I saw him other than playing as Doctor Who. I was thinking, shit, that's the Doctor
But he's also in
with a gun.
the second Thor movie. But you can tell it's his face, but he doesn't really have a lot to do. Because he's like one of the dark elves. They're like, Thor. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I could talk for hours about Scooby Doo and Doctor Who crossovers. But yeah, I think for me then, either Fourth Doctor, 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor, or 14th. And I'm just trying to find a way for Clara to be involved, but I think it's kind of a lost cause at this point. Um, but I guess all companions are good. Your Rose Noble, Donna Noble idea is probably the best. Even the 15th Doctor, because he seems a bit cheeky as well.
Well, technically,
I
that's
don't
the
know enough
first
about it.
Doctor. It's kind of weird because when he split apart, it
Well,
became an own sentient being. So David Tennant is the like you could say he's like the 15th Doctor, whereas
but
that he's
that's the
technically
thing
the
though,
first.
because you could also
Because
argue that Peter Capaldi is the first Doctor, because Matt Smith was granted a new cycle of regenerations by the time. See, this is Doctor Who stuff.
yeah,
So I feel like this
it's
is
really
it. Like it's
confusing.
crazy.
Is he 15 or is he like number one or where does he place? And then it's because he split apart, so it's like it's his own independent. So he's like the first one of himself. So yeah, because he's instead of calling it like season 15 or whatever, it's like season one now. So it's really confusing because now there's three Doctor Who's of season one. There's the old
Well,
classic
I guess
season,
technically
then we got the modern
Eccleston was
era
series one,
series
so we've
one.
gone from season one to series one back to season one.
Yeah.
But it's actually I might just start calling it like what was it, series 14?
So it's the Doctor Modern Era 2, season one. That's how I think
It's
about it.
new Who to the power two.
Yeah, why do they redo it from number one? I have no idea.
It is a bit confusing. I mean, I understand doing it for Disney Plus. You can call it season one in America, season one Disney Plus. I don't mind, but I think it should continue on the iPlayer as it was. Because it connects so heavily. Like to understand why David Tennant's back, or to watch David Tennant come back, you need to watch Power of the Doctor. To understand what's going on in the specials, you really need to watch Series 4. So it's just so connected that it should just continue. And obviously, the first episode of the 15th slash whatever Doctor we've got now, that happened in the finale of the heavily connected to Series 4 special, The Giggle. So, yeah, it's mad. It's mad.